Welcome to Ecoeverywhere, brought to you by Commonplace Eco Village. This series will be all about food, eco-grow Niagara.
Our farm, which we call Ridge Meadow Farm because we're on the ridge and we overlook a beautiful meadow, is located just at the top of the escarpment above the Beamsville Bench. This area is becoming known as the 20 Valley region as far as tourism and farming. It's a beautiful area. The Bruce Trail goes right across the ridge here in front of our farm. It's quite beautiful. We chose this area because of the proximity to wineries and the microclimate too. We're in zone 6A, I believe, 6A, 6B, different parts of our property. So we have the opportunity to do quite extended farming. Last year we had a very mild winter, so I was able to provide vegetables up until 2 weeks before Christmas. We had our farm gate stand open, and we opened again around the beginning of March. I do have a hoop house, which is a 20 by 70 foot hoop house, an enclosed area that we grow vegetables in to help extend our season. And we have more opportunity for that, and we hope to be able to do that more so in the future. At this point, I'm probably supplying 30 to 50 families on a weekly basis for their vegetables. And we hope to be able to do more of that and extend our season. We really have to look at what the weather is doing. So far we're having a mild season and we've been able to continue growing. We still have our gate stand open here and it's the end of October, and hopefully we'll be able to continue for another month. We do operate a CSA, which is Community Supported Agriculture. So people have purchased a share of our produce, the share of the harvest, at the beginning of the season. So they buy in around March, April, and then starting in mid-June to mid-October each week, they come to the farm and select a share of what we're harvesting that week. So it's a great opportunity to interact with the people eating our food and for them to come and see the farm and experience a little bit of farm and the country, which they're not necessarily able to in the city or in the towns.
So Beth, tell us about this cozy shed.
Well, right now it's acting as my harvest shed. We had a heavy frost about 10 days ago, so we went out and madly picked the tomatoes and peppers, and for want of another place to put it, we have it in here, and the sweet potatoes. In the springtime, this is my seedling greenhouse, so I start things under floor light stands, and as soon as they're big enough, they come out here where they're sheltered, and yet they can get some natural sun until they're ready to be planted in the ground.
So you're basically growing things virtually year-round?
I'm trying to. Right, last year we had food for 10 months out of the 12 months. It was an amazing winter, and we have the our 70-foot hoop house that we plant directly into the soil, but it extends the season. Actually, this is interesting because each cover that you put over produce will increase the temperature 1 or 2 degrees. So in the middle of winter in my hoop house, I'll put a floating row cover directly on the plant, and then a wire hoop with plastic over that, and then the hoop house plastic. So that's 3, so I can get 3 to 6 degrees more warmth that way. Oh. So on a -8, -10 degree night, the produce will still be safe. So
that's beautiful. It's actually late October, and Beth's still got lettuce in the garden, and some tomatoes, some potatoes. What else have you got at the moment?
Rapini, celery. There's arugula. Everyone loves arugula. So a little bit of everything out there. Yeah, that's it, roquettes. So a little bit of everything out there. Still have some squash to pick and Jerusalem artichokes to dig, potatoes to dig, cabbage, leeks, kale, Swiss chard, all of those things will stay well into the winter.
Christmas,
Yeah.
So how many products? Let's say you had to have a product list. Are we talking 100 different things?
Maybe with the different varieties. That's one thing that's very important, that you grow different varieties of each thing. So for example, in tomatoes, I do heirloom tomatoes, and I have maybe 20 different varieties that I do. There are some people that do a lot more, but I've kind of limited to that. Onions, I do 3 or 4 varieties. So you try to do different varieties of the same vegetable, so that if one doesn't do too well, the other one will. And potatoes, we do 3 different of the fingerling and 6 of the different other new potatoes as well. So
Potatoes here for you.
yes,
Got
that's
some
right.
potatoes.
Those are some red chieftains,
Fantastic.
and there's some little guys of the all blue. I love them small like this because you can
Awesome.
just toss them in a stew. And these are supposed to be high in antioxidants, about as much as blueberry too. So they're purple inside, but blue when you cook them. So.
So tell us a little bit about biodiversity, because that's obviously something you're very passionate about, is the actual range and variety of produce that we can grow.
Well, it's very important because the story that everyone goes to is the Irish potato famine when they're talking about biodiversity, because they were essentially growing one type of potato. So blight came in, wiped out those potatoes, and they had nothing. So it's important to grow different varieties, because some are hardier or will withstand a blight better. As far as different crops, we're trying to get away from monoculture, where you're just growing one thing over and over and over, because that's really depleting the soil. You're not adding anything back in, as well as pests will winter, and so they'll attack the same plant if the plant gets there. So you want a different variety of things to be able to do a crop rotation as well. Some plants grow well together, garlic and tomatoes, basil and tomatoes, so there's all the companion planting part of biodiversity too, that you're helping out. Some things will attract good bugs, and you want those there to be able to feed off the bad bugs. So it's all part of biodiversity, is working with nature too, as opposed to fighting nature. You're working with it. And the other thing, you don't want to be mining the soil. You don't want to be taking things out of the soil all the time. You want to be growing so that you're helping the soil, you're feeding the soil as well. And crop rotation does that. Growing ground covers, green manure. We've got, I don't know if you can see it here, but there's sweet clover that we've planted back there. Yeah. And that feeds the soil too. So it's all about working with nature. So potatoes are fun to grow, because it's like going on a treasure hunt. Every time you're going out, you dig up, and there they are.
And really all you need is like a potato. Pop the potato in the ground. We grew potatoes for the first time this year.
Oh, excellent.
And the kids adored it. And it's, I guess, you hear about the 100-mile diet, and this is where I guess we want to encourage people to do this themselves.
Here's another one. Yeah, potatoes.
0-mile diet. Potatoes are easy.
They really are. And they're a lot of fun, in all different colors now too. I mean, that's the latest thing.
Yeah, more interesting.
The all reds and the all blues, and so I mean, you can do fun things with kids, like pink mashed potatoes.
Oh,
yep.
My kids love those
gnocchi.
blue chips.
Yeah, exactly.
Chips, yeah. So some trick questions, Beth, assuming that people come onto this site and are curious about local food, because we know that people want to buy more organic, and we know that there's a great awareness about local food movements. What kind of things can you talk about in terms of promotion? You are organic?
Yes.
Not necessarily certified?
We're working towards that. So we have had our inspection, which we've passed, that says we grow organically, but there is a time period to wait. So next July, I believe it is, we'll have our official certification.
And it's a pretty long and rigorous process.
It is. There's a lot of record keeping, and they
Yeah.
do inspect.
Yeah.
And it's good because you
Yeah.
know there's the standards, and you know that there's someone checking.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you also have regulars, presumably?
Yes,
Yeah.
we do. People
Yeah.
that like to come in with their families, and we encourage that, and they come and visit the chickens and visit our cats and our new little kittens. And it's good because I take it for granted because I grew up on a farm. It was a dairy and mixed farm. So it was commonplace for me to just walk outside and play and go and visit the pigs and the chickens and see the cows. So to me, it's just a way of life. But for people with families growing up in the city, they don't know. So it's nice for them to be able to feel free to bring their kids here and visit.
People seem to intuitively come towards that, especially children.
Oh yeah, they love it.
It's like we've got that innate connection. We all want to have the farm, live on the farm, have our pets, grow our own things. So it's, as far as a lifestyle choice, I guess it's a fabulous lifestyle choice, but it's also very hard. Would you say it's hard work?
It is hard work. It's physically hard, but it's a great environment to work in. And I feel very connected to the soil, and it was something that was missing. I worked in the corporate world for years and years, and I had at one place an office down in the basement, and I felt so disconnected from the earth, and it's just so nice to be back and in touch with that again. I think it's very healthy, but it's nice to hear. It's nice to have people come and visit and let you know how important. Because for me, it is important to be able to provide good food for people, good healthy food, because I think that's important for their well-being. So it's nice to know.
Well-being as
yes,
well.
exactly. So it's nice to know that that it's important to other people too, because on a really hard day, it's pouring rain, and you've got your slicker on and your rubber boots, and you're covered in mud. It's nice to be able to think that people are appreciating it, so it keeps you going.
Yeah, they do. I mean, I'm a customer.
Yes, that's right.
And,
Visit
and I
every
know
Saturday.
not enough Saturdays. But something I'd heard said is that at farmers markets, people have 10 times the amount of conversations as they do in supermarkets.
It's so true.
There's not just, it's not just about food. It's about socializing.
Community,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome.
Living alright.